Hello everybody and welcome to Marvin Gardens June 2024. And let me tell you, it is a steamy, hot summer day in the garden, even though it's not summer yet. However, in about 15-20 minutes, it will be summer because I'm taking advantage of the fact that the summer solstice arrives at 4:51 p.m. And I like to, when I get the chance, shoot the garden video at the time of either a solstice or an equinox. So we are quickly approaching the summer solstice, which will officially make summer begin. And I have an alarm set on my iPhone, so we'll all know exactly when it happens. Now, I told you that I was hoping we'd have a June is busting out all over garden to show you, and we pretty much do, as you'll see when we get started right now. And as you can see, we're headed for the place that we always start. Oops, sorry. I just almost tripped over Mr. Franklin, who's right here keeping tabs on what we're doing. Oh, we cleaned up the fire pit area so that we don't get standing water anymore after it rains. Anyway, doesn't that look nice? All right, so typically we come over here to the Asian leeks or garlic chives, and all the pond irises are done blooming, but they haven't started dying back, so that's nice. Mr. Coco and his mini chick companion are down there. Whoops, one of them took a nosedive there, but he's out keeping an eye on things. Nothing really to see in the greenhouse. We haven't really used it very much as a greenhouse this year, but that's okay. It's been used for other stuff. Now, we've got the petunias growing in the hanging planters. They haven't started to get very big yet, but they usually do pretty well in there. And this is the first bed of Silver Queen corn. I think you remember how it looked last month. And I'll always say this time of year, the saying is knee high by the 4th of July. Well, it is just the 20th of June, and it's about chest high for the most part. It varies just a little bit, but it is dark green and gorgeous, and we haven't even started spraying for corn earworms because we haven't got any silks or tassels. And I found out this year that that's all you need to spray is the silks to prevent corn earworms. Anyway, here we are at the herb garden. Those are again Asian leeks or garlic chives, followed by a little basil, which is Asian cinnamon, some chives, some oregano, some giant of Italy parsley, some common sage, which is doing fine, rosemary, which is coming along okay, and we got winter time and creeping time. And as I said before, this is at least the third year that creeping time has flourished in that spot. So that's nice. Over here in the pet memorial area, still a little bit overgrown, but you can see, well, poor sleeping dachshund needs to be dug out from whatever all that green stuff is that's growing up. But the tiger lilies are blooming, and that's nice. They won't be around next month. Um, so, moving on, we've got the compost heap, which you'll see once the camera adjusts to the shade. Been using quite a bit of it and putting the new stuff on this end to be tilled in after the fact. Now, if you remember around this time last year, our pumpkins were dying. Of course, this year we're growing a different variety. We're growing a pie pumpkin, but as you can see, the grow house is already just filled with pumpkin vine and pumpkin leaves, and all looking quite healthy. I haven't got a maturing pumpkin yet to show you. I keep forgetting to go in there in the morning because there's not many bugs in there to pollinate the pumpkins, so I should go in there myself every morning because they only bloom, the females only bloom in the morning, and you gotta get them pollinated then if anything's going to happen. Anyway, the flowers in front of the irises, which are done blooming, and around, are all volunteer calendulas, which actually sort of took over one row of the scallions, which is right to the left of those volunteer calendulas. And then we got all our leeks, and they're coming in various rates of growth, but looking pretty well. And then the onions. On this end we got Patterson. In between we got Red Wing. And on this end, you know, I couldn't remember which variety. I have to look back, and that's why I've got two labels down here, because I couldn't remember if I got Elsa Craig or Candy. But I'll eliminate one of those labels when I find out. But the good news is, excuse me. The good news is I got labels on everything, which especially helps when I'm walking around and can't remember the varieties that I planted. So we got a row of Bolero carrots, Caravel carrots. They're coming in. Before we were hoping they'd be coming in. Then we got Twister cauliflower. We got Skywalker cauliflower. And we've got Clementine. Now, Clementine was another one of those early varieties. I think I have a shot of the harvest that we did a little bit ago. But it's an early variety. They're kind of small heads, but that right there is a gorgeous head of yellow/gold Clementine. And that brings us to a row of Brussels sprouts, which kind of got hit by caterpillars, but I just treated it with Bacillus thuringiensis, and so hopefully that'll help. Then we got a row of broccoli, some of which I think is, yeah, this guy is pretty much ready to be harvested. He's just starting to separate, but it's not too late to pull him, and he'll still be good. And this is our favorite cabbage, storage number 4, followed by a row of Caraflex, which is kind of one of those pointy, I don't know what the shape is. They're skinny, pointy cabbage heads. Then 2 varieties of red cabbage, one called Primero and one called Ruby Perfection, which we've had success with before. And this area, as you can see, it's not a neat row by any means, is Alpine is the variety Daikon radishes. And we're probably due to go in there and do some thinning. Whoops, you can see that they're starting to form nicely. And that brings us to the second planting of Silver Queen corn. That happened just this past week. And they are doing fine because I pre-treated for slugs. And so there's no slug damage. And they're coming along quite nicely. We got no fatalities, no vacancies, and several dual plantings because it wasn't worth separating the ones that I planted in twos, just to make sure that I had enough to go around. Now this row, for the most part, is a variety called Nancy lettuce. It's sort of a bib lettuce, except for right there. We had one bib lettuce from last year that sprouted, and so we planted it here. You can see the difference in the color. It also is resistant to bolting, so that's nice too. In front of the lettuce is an unlabeled row that's also Asian basil, a variety called cinnamon. And this is a lettuce that's getting ready to bolt, so it's due to be harvested. And I've already harvested 7 to 10 heads, most of which I washed off and put in open Ziploc bags in the refrigerator, because I think that will help them keep the longest. The roots are still on them, even though they're washed off. And if you look very carefully down here and here, you might be able to see that we've got 2 more rows of radishes coming up. And yes, they are the daikon alpine radishes. So then we come on to flowers. We've got 2 rows of straw flowers. One's giant orange and one is a seashells mix. And then we got calendula flashback mix, which is already blooming, except for we got a few vacancies down there. But we have so many volunteers, which are those also at this side of the onion patch, that we're going to have plenty of calendula. 2 fatalities in the husk cherry department, but 4 of them are coming along fine. And if it's a typical garden year, we'll see some volunteers come up and we'll just transplant them over here. Oh my goodness, look at Mr. Handsome there. He is just posing as the gorgeous dachshund that he is. I'm surprised he's not eating the cattail shoots, which really he likes. But right now he's just hanging out in the shade, keeping cool. These are the sunflowers. It's branching Soraya. I don't know how it's pronounced. Anyway, they have recovered quite well from the slug damage that they incurred originally. And we're going to get some good sunflowers, it looks, out of that. Here's the back view of the pumpkin grow house. It's getting hard to get in there too, so hopefully I'll get in there and get some females pollinated, and we'll get some pie pumpkins out of the whole deal. Then of course we got the Sky Manor Marsh. Lots of cattails coming up. No official cattails shoots inside the cattails, but that comes later in the summer. And that brings us to the asparagus patch. Now, interestingly enough, the asparagus patch, my water deterrents have kept the deer away very effectively. But the asparagus, just like in previous years, seem to come back less and less every year. So we've got a couple of good helpings of asparagus. In fact, we have some inside that are due to be stir-fried up and eaten. But I'm going to take advantage of the fact that the population out there isn't booming with asparagus plants, because I discovered we have no more summer squash in the garden. I'm sorry, in the freezer. And as you know, this year I was trying to not plant anything of which we have varieties in the freezer. But come to find out, we have no summer squash. So, make a long story short, I'm going to plant a few mounds of summer squash out there very soon. The seeds have just arrived, and so we'll see if we can get some summer squash out of the season anyway. So, that brings us back around into the garden. All this stuff you've seen, and it is, like I say, a beautiful day, and according to my watch, the solstice is going to be here in about 1 minute, so we'll see if that happens. And you can see the fire pit area is looking very fine, and my shadow is waving at everybody. I know you've been probably waiting for that. Looks like one of those back pots needs some water, but we'll get to that. The hammock has not been used yet, but it's out. Oh, there it is. Ladies and gentlemen, let me see, I've got to figure out how to stop this. It is summer, officially, right now, this very second. The sun is hovering over the Tropic of Cancer, and it's about to head back down towards the equator, sort of, relatively. And I don't know if you can see that green frog that's in there. It's taken up residence in this particular water feature, but he's looking very happy. I don't see anybody over in this water feature, but it is bubbling happily, and no more blooming in either water feature, but or the honeysuckle, which is what we were allowed to grow all along this fence. But that's what's going on. Now, Vanina's planted some succulents in this barrel to hopefully complement the peppermint mint. This has turned into its own mint farm around this tree here. Comes back every year just as intense as the year before. And so, let's see. We do have a impatiens. Probably see a little bit of difference from last month. They're just doing fine. The cone flowers have just started to bloom. That one right there. Look, frogs are jumping around the pond. The water is fairly clear. We've still got some purple pond irises blooming. And if you look very closely down here, oh, another little frog just juked. That is a water lily bud that's coming up to the surface, which means we're going to get some water lilies with just a little bit of luck. Got flowers blooming around the pond, and really due to vacuum one more time and try to get the water a little clearer. I like it to be crystal clear. But as you can see, there's lots of external decorations around, and even the koi is looking happy with things. He doesn't seem to be overly hungry. This is getting hard to see anymore. The overflow tub for water plants, and if you look in there, you can see that that's probably one of the last yellow pond irises that is actually blooming. And the other summer event is that the pool is up. I didn't quite get it positioned the way that I wanted it, so it's a little crooked, but it'll do nonetheless, and the heater is heating, and with any luck, if not today, tomorrow, it'll be warm enough to enjoy a refreshing but not shockingly cold dip at the pool. Tiger lilies again blooming. Thought I'd better show you that because they'll be long gone by next month. And you might see that there's a couple of sort of scarecrows, or scare squirrels as we like to call them, around the pear tree, because we are showing a promise of quite a few pears. Usually if they hang on this long, it means that we're going to get some, and I don't know if I got any of them in focus for you, but the news isn't as good over here in nectarine land, where I believe almost every nectarine on the half-dead tree has fallen off. I mean, there is one right there, and there's another little one over here, but quite frankly, I'm not expecting those to last the full season, but you never know, we might get one. Over here on the peach tree, the news is pretty much better. There's quite a few peaches still on the tree, and it's only maybe 1/4 dead. I'm afraid that this is just the wrong place to have stone fruit trees, or any fruit trees for that matter. So we'll give them a chance to produce, and then we'll move on to plan B, whatever that would be. So that means I can get this squared away, and why isn't that responding to my touch for focus? Something is not right. Well, it won't be the first time that technology has outsmarted me. So anyway, now the manual gate is outsmarting me. Okay, I think at least it's closed. All right, so let me go back down here and sit down and see if I can get in focus. I forgot to put my glasses on too. That's part of the problem. I can't see the monitor screen. All right, so there we go. It looks like I'm in focus. Let me do what I should have in the first place. I'm giggling at Frankie because he's walking over here because he likes to stay close. And the focus is not responding to. So, I don't know what's going on. Now I'm going to have to look at that and see what setting I have for the autofocus, that it's not doing what I'm expecting it to do. It does look like when I'm in the center of the picture, I'm in focus, which I guess is better than having me out of focus. Anyway, so summer arrived during the June garden video, and for me that's just fun. It's probably just me. It's probably like, yes, so what? It's not like you're live streaming or anything. But Frankie's right here with me, and has been following me around, as evidenced by the fact I almost stepped on him earlier. I don't see Ranger, but I don't hear him eating cattails either. I hope I've got some good drone footage to show you while I'm rambling on, and have been rambling on ever since we got to the asparagus patch. But other than that, and the fact that we're going to see a trail cam video coming up with lots of Bambis and even a couple of coyotes or two or three that seemed to pass through on June 11th. And but other than that, that's it. This is Marvin Gardens, June 2024, and summer just started, and I hope that so far you're having a great summer. It is unseasonably warm for the next few days, but I like it, and it was a perfect time to set up the pool and get it open by the beginning of summer. All right, I've rambled enough. You're bored enough. You're up to date. And next month is July. And as you know, that's the high holy days of gardening, or at least the beginning of it, when everything gets totally to the max. So we'll see you next time in July. This is Marvin Gardens, June 2024. And see y'all later. Bye.